back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm Becca and I do a lot of like house, home and lifestyle content and a lot of vlogs. I say a lot, I want to get into doing them more often. So in this video I'm going to be doing a DIY how to tile your backsplash, like the one behind me. Me and Eric live in a new build. If you haven't seen my moving vlogs or anything, I will link them up here or in the description or at the end of the video. And yeah, so as you can see, we just have paint and drywall. So we're going to tile all of this. I will do cutaways where you can see everything that's going to get done. We are tiling with just basic Metro tiles. I'm going to use black grouting and black silicone to finish it off. So if you're interested in that kind of more industrial edgy look like we are, then this is definitely going to be the video for you. Quick disclaimer, we are not professionals. This is just two normal average people who have watched plenty of videos and looked at lots of like articles and how-tos on how to do it, and have just decided to do it ourselves. It's saving us a lot of money. I got some quotes from some builders and such who were going to do it for us, and that was going to be between £200 and £300. And we had to supply the materials still. So that was £200–300, and then plus buying all of the stuff. So instead we thought we'd do it ourselves. All of the stuff we've bought has been about, I think, £80 to £90. I will show you exactly what I've bought and how much it was and where we got it from. It was really easy to do, and we are in lockdown at the moment, so of course we did like a click and collect and got some essential stuff that we needed as well, because we needed to get some various essential things, so we just added these on as well. So yeah, I'm going to show you what we've got, what the plan is, and then I guess we're just going to show you how we're doing it. There's no real plan to this video, I'm just kind of doing it on a whim. So these are all of the resources that we have. I'm trying to vlog with the tripod attached to the camera, so if it's a little bit shaky, that's why. So like I said, we went for the Metro tiles. These are from Wix, and I think they're going to look really good with the black grouting. We went for like the gloss finish, that's the one. When you're doing the tiling, you need to measure like the surface area of the kitchen, so we just separated it all out into like squares. So each square, like one there, one along like that big one, and then we worked out the square meter of each one and then added it all together. And then you need to add on like 10 to 20% onto that, just to make room for any mistakes, so you've got additional tiles. And if any like get broken when they're getting delivered to you or whatever, yeah, you just need extra. So we have 3 boxes of the Metro white tiles. We've got some tools there. So this one's like a silicone tool for when you're doing the silicones in the corners. To be honest, I'm not even sure what some of this stuff is. I think it's for the grouting. This is our black grout that we've got. It's the Unibond black anti-mold one. You don't need an awful lot of that. We've got some spacers for going in between the tiles to make sure that they're evenly spaced. This one is for the adhesive. So this is the adhesive that we've got. It's like a one designed for ceramic tiles, which is what these are. So we've got a good amount of adhesive for the back of the wall, and you apply the adhesive with this one so that it's nice and flat and even. And this is what you use for the grout, so you just kind of put it on. I'm going to show you anyway, but that's what you use for the grouting. You need a pen for marking your tiles. These are some of the sample tiles that we got delivered. So we played around with like the idea of black tiles and obviously gloss ones and also matte ones. The matte ones, I don't know if you can see on the camera very well, but they mark really easily, and I knew that would really bother me. So that's why we decided to go for the gloss finish. You need some silicone or sealant for all the corners. You need a trim for any edges. For example, here, where the tiles are just going to finish quite sharp, we needed like a trim for that, and also for any external corners like that one. And then the silicone is used on like edges like that, or internal corners where the wall goes inwards. You need a sponge for when you do the grouting, so we can wipe down the tiles. And we need a tile cutter. So there's various different tile cutters you can get. We're using a wet tile cutter, which is what Eric's dad had. So we've borrowed that from him. But you can also get like various different ones. And I think that's everything. If I've forgotten anything along the way, I'll let you know. But yeah, there's all of our materials ready to go. So the first step is to cut any half tiles that we need, or any that maybe don't fit in certain areas. We're going to start with this corner because this is going to be the most difficult bit. So we need to cut the tiles ready so that they're ready to stick on instead of doing it as we go along. Otherwise the adhesive might dry. So we're going to stick the tiles on with the adhesive. Do any half tiles and do the trim in that corner. We're going to maybe try and do the whole backsplash up and tiled. And then we do the spaces in between them as we go along to make sure they're evenly spaced. Then you need to wait 24 hours for the adhesive to dry. So tomorrow I'll come back to the video and get on with like the grouting and such and all the finishing touches. So for the edging here, what you need to do is kind of cut the corners. Just open it so I can show them. Like at an angle so they fit in together.
A 45-degree angle. There
you go, a 45-degree angle so that they fit in. So we've measured it all where the tiles are going to go. So this is basically like the most awkward corner to do because we've got like this bit to go around. We've got to go up there a little bit, which is why we're starting here, because then the rest is fairly easy. On the external corner is going to be a bit awkward because that needs a trim, but the rest should be fairly easy. Oh yeah, and we've got these to do. Okay, first, before we stick these on, we're going to turn the electrics off and pull all the plug sockets forward so that we can see what we've got to play with there for the tiles as well. So the tiles are all up. We've done the edging and we've got the spacers between them to make sure there's space for the grout. We now need to leave this for 24 hours to dry, and then we can go in with the grouting and the silicone around the edges. But it looks good. Woo! Oh yeah, we need to tidy as well. It's a wee bit messy. So it's now day 2 of doing the tiling. I don't know if you can see Eric just there, but he's currently attaching the plug sockets back to the wall. So just ignore him for a moment. So yesterday it took us overall, I think, around 6 hours to put the tiles up. I didn't talk too much while I was doing it. I kind of just filmed us doing it because we were learning as we went along, and it was our first time doing it. We didn't really know, from watching lots of videos, we didn't really know which tips we were going to pick up along the way. So I didn't want to say we were doing it a certain way and then we're going to change later on. So I might as well tell you now. With the grouting, I found this tool so much easier than this one. This one I found it really difficult to spread. Let me just put it down. Yeah, the big one was really difficult to spread, and I think because it was like a backsplash, it was a smaller area, the tiles are quite small and so on. So a one like this was so much easier. You kind of just put it straight into the wall. You've got to press like pretty hard to spread it, and then these little grooves make like lumps in it, and those lumps are what stick to the back of the tile. The back of the tile kind of has grooves in it as well, so they stick together. And then when it came to like smaller parts of the tiles where you couldn't quite get in with this, you can just put it onto the back of the tile. One thing I would definitely recommend is getting a wet tile cutter. That made a huge difference to being able to cut the tiles quite precisely, especially in more difficult areas where we have to go around cupboards or like around plug sockets and such. I've seen lots of videos where people just use one of those ones that score the tile and press down on it. We obviously didn't have one of those because we borrowed the wet tile cutter from Eric's dad, and yeah, I would definitely say it was really easy to use. Well, I didn't use it. Eric used it and he said it was really easy to use, it was really easy to pick up. He's never used one before and he did them all really well, so I would definitely say that was great. You don't have to be an expert to be able to use it, as long as you like have common sense and you use it safely. We developed quite a good system where I was putting the tiles up and spacing them and kind of like deciding where the tiles were going to go, while Eric measured, especially for like any halves or bits going around, and he cut them as we went along. Because there was 2 of us. If there was just one person doing it, you would probably have to cut all the tiles ready to go up, because the adhesive does kind of stick really quickly. So you kind of have to have the tiles ready to go, which is why I think our system of like Eric off cutting, bring it back to me, stick up, and then like, it kind of went really well, if you know what I mean. If you're doing it completely by yourself, kind of measure up the whole wall and have all of your cuttings ready. Well, not the whole wall, but like if you do the wall in sections. So for example, like this is a section, that little bit there's a section, that bit's a section, that's a section. So like do it that way, so you have all your bits ready to go onto that whole slab of wall. We took on the tip where people were recommending to start from the middle of the wall outwards, which is what we did here. And I think it looks really natural. Instead of starting from like one corner where it's all full tiles and going along and then you've got half tiles, like it looked really, really weird in photos where I saw people doing that. So starting from the middle and working outwards worked really well. So even though it did take a really long time and there were some really frustrating parts where we felt like we were struggling to get the right cut, overall I think I would do it again. It was really rewarding. It feels really good to know that we've done it ourselves. We've saved a lot of money. And yeah, I think it looks good. It doesn't look like someone unprofessional did them, I think, anyway. We've still got the grouting to do, so that's what we're going to do today. And hopefully by the end of today the kitchen will be finished, because we've got the grouting, we need to do like the silicone in the internal corners, and then we've also got some new cupboard handles to go on to match the new aesthetic, and then we'll be done.
You reuse space and you just throw them away.
I think you can reuse them. This is what the tiles look like with the grout. That's without, and that's with. I think it makes a massive difference. So we sponged off the majority of the excess of the grout, and then I don't know if you can see on camera, but there's like a film of grout on it. So we got some vinegar spray, which we're going to use, that will break down any of the grout film that's left on the outside. And then it'll be all nicely done. So we've got the other walls to do. I mean, that was the biggest, hardest job. We've got the other ones to do, and then we'll be done. Actually, no, we won't be done. We have to do the sealant on the inner corners. So that's the grouting done. I think it looks great. All we've got left to do is like finishing touches. So we need to like silicone on the internal corners, maybe around the edges, I'm not sure yet. And give it another wipe down. It still has kind of like a grout film on it. So we'll wipe that down with vinegar, probably later on after the grout's got a bit more time to dry. And we also have new door handles that we're going to do once everything's finished and when we start putting all of the kitchen stuff back. So yeah, we're really happy with it. It looks really cool. So we are going to do the finishing touches tonight. We have some black silicone and use this in like internal corners. So for example, this one, we need to seal this up, and this one over there, probably here between the fridge, and possibly along the top, just to kind of even it and neaten it up. We also need to give the tiles like a really good clean, and then once they're clean we can put all of the kitchen stuff back and we'll be done. So now that we've done all of the silicone, the tiles, the grout and everything, the grout needs to dry for 24 hours, I believe it is. So we're not going to put anything back on the kitchen tops, and then we're going to give it one last clean tomorrow afternoon. So we're actually changing these silver handles here to these matte black ones that I got off Amazon. If I can find a link, I will leave it down below. And it comes with two different sets of screws, so like the long ones and the short ones. And all we did was basically measure the gap between the screws to make sure that we found the ones that fit right, and when one came we did try it to make sure it does. So we know they fit and we have plenty for all of the cupboards, and I think it's going to be a nice touch for when it's all done. is the end of my video where Eric and I have tiled our own backsplash. Bit of DIY. Who doesn't love a DIY video? Because I know I absolutely love them. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like down below, subscribe to see more videos like this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!